I got forced again into looking into the bubble of digital assets. But I have to admit, it was a better starting point this time because I didn't feel insulted by my daughter. I was more kind of positively surprised about the forward-looking thinking of Julius Baer at this time. Thank you, Damien, for the introduction. Welcome as well from my side. And I really would like to start with a secret. I do hate digital assets. At least that's what I would have said a couple of years ago. And here is the story why. Me, working in banking since 20 years plus, started my career in portfolio management, moved to the great investment banking organizations, and since a couple of years working at wealth management, gray hair, super experienced, I got suddenly approached by my teenager daughter who explained me how you can get rich in investing by digital assets. I said, wow. She told me, listen, Daddy, I was following some influencers on TikTok. And please, don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against those influencers, although it's probably not my generation anymore. But those influencers were telling my daughter, while driving a Lamborghini, you know, how you can get insanely rich by investing into Bitcoin. Wow. If I have learned one thing in finance and in banking, there is no free lunch out there. And this is also why I thought that this is the biggest bubble after the dot-com bubble. And I have put crypto aside for a while. Years later, back in 2019, I started at Julius Baer. And already at this time, Julius Baer had a digital offering where clients were able to sell and buy digital assets. And guess what? I got forced again into looking into the bubble of digital assets. But I have to admit, it was a better starting point this time because I didn't feel insulted by my daughter. I was more kind of positively surprised about the forward-looking thinking of Julius Baer at this time. And now, don't get me wrong, you don't move from the camp in being super skeptic to the enthusiast just by changing the employer. Clearly not. And that's not the point. I still would call me skeptic, but this time, and this is important, with an open mindset. Because I wanted to understand the technology behind. I wanted to understand how transactions in decentralized world are really working. And that also meant for me that somehow I had to find a way in my brain to separate out what is speculation, all the price moves going up and down, versus the underlying technology. And I want to illustrate that in 2-3 examples. The first example, I remember there was a lemonade company called Long Island Iced Tea. And those guys were super smart, and they said, let's think about the rebranding. Let's change the name. They changed the name to Long Blockchain. And guess what happened? The stock spiked by 500%. The firm had 5 times more value. No change in business model, just changing the name. How insane is that? But there are as well a lot of good examples. Supply chain, we heard about it. Supply chain is super fragmented, super costly to run. And for example, Walmart Canada already introduced a blockchain together with their trucking company to deliver its inventory in a much more cost-efficient way. Or let's think about our beloved banking. Obviously, KYC and all of that can get much more efficient, or even corporate actions. Now you tell me corporate action on a smart contract. Yes, Benvenuta Lugano. The city of Lugano just recently launched a digital bond, fully settled on a blockchain. Now the question is, if this is all so great, why is there still a need for a private bank? And Damien said it, and I slightly disagree. It's because of the client needs. They are remaining the same, ladies and gentlemen. They want to have a partner who has a product shelf, who can provide custody business, who can make sure that you get the research, that you can learn about something new. And they also would expect, and there should be a slide up here, they should also expect and would like to have a one-stop shop, irrespectively if it's traditional assets or digital assets. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, we at Julius Baer, we believe decentralized finance will coexist with traditional finance. And this is also why we at Julius Baer have integrated digital assets into our wealth management proposition, which includes wealth planning as well. You also need to understand tax implications and the like. Good. I guess crypto is everywhere, we agree. A lot of headlines, and most of them bad ones, I have to say. FTX, we heard, and all that. And sometimes I feel ashamed to read all of that, I have to say. And I remember I was joining once a panel discussion where the panelist on that panel was arguing, oh, don't worry, all those billion lost, that was the price for innovation, it's all good. How cynical is that for the people who really lost the money in knowing that a lot of retail clients were behind? Now, it's important, people are now getting excited about Bitcoin 40% up, Ethereum 30% up, but this is mainly driven by the macroeconomic backdrop. There still needs to be a lot of going on in terms of regulation, better risk management, transparency and the like. But it's equally important to say that the whole crisis was not a technological crisis, because that really worked. Ethereum went through a merge. They are doing now a so-called Shanghai upgrade. Bitcoin, as well in 2022, they have added every 600 seconds a new block. And that shows you the resilience of the technology and blockchain. Good. Now let's go back to my daughter. TikTok, and obviously spending too much time on the platform, that's a constant topic with her as well at home. And that's why I thought, I'm a smart guy, I will introduce a new platform to her. And we already heard about ChatGPT, and you can really do amazing things. And I was a bit worried because, yes, it also writes for you an essay, and she's still in school age. I was not sure if this is the right thing to do. But I have asked her to do one thing. I have asked her to put into the chat, please explain me in 2 sentences digital assets for a 14-year-old. Quote. And I'm not sure if you need to quote if there is an AI behind, but that's the quote. Digital assets are things that you can own and trade online, like you can own and trade physical things like toys and clothes. Owning digital assets can be fun, but it's important to understand the risk and be responsible for your investment. At least for me, that sounds like a reasonably balanced view on digital assets. I hope as well my daughter gets a bit more balanced on that topic. I see my time is up. Thank you very much for listening and enjoy AssetRush. Thank you very much.